Dear friend, on this sacred Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2025, whether you're nestled by a twinkling tree in a cozy London flat, wrapping last-minute gifts under Toronto's twinkling skyline, sipping hot cocoa by a Vancouver window framed in frost, or gazing at the Southern Cross from an Aussie backyard aglow with fairy lights, let the evening's tender magic draw you near. Pause the playlist of beloved hymns, ease the weight of the day's preparations from your shoulders and breathe with me, in deeply, drawing the crisp promise of midnight's peace, out gently, releasing the subtle strains that have shadowed your steps. In this shared vigil, connecting our hearts from Seattle's festive fog to Melbourne's merry markets, a profound yet peaceful assurance arrives. God is reminding you that the struggle you face is drawing to a close, not with a thunderclap of triumph, but as a quiet easing, like the first light of dawn softening the edges of a long, starlit night, inviting you to trust the turning tide with a soul softened by hope. You may feel that struggle's silhouette now, etched against the holiday's heartfelt glow, that persistent pull of what weighs heavy amid the joy. Our lives in these cherished corners weave such intricate stories, the rush of holiday shopping in Chicago's bustling boulevards, where financial frets flicker like faulty strings on the tree, the quiet ache of empty chairs at a Manchester table, echoing losses that linger like winter's chill, or the determined push through a Calgary career crossroads where dreams defer like delayed flights at Pearson. Perhaps it's the emotional ebb of mending family threads stretched thin across oceans from Dublin to Denver, the weariness of nurturing ambitions in Perth's purposeful pace, or the simple sovereignty of standing firm in a Halifax home against health's hushed hurdles. In these poignant pauses, where celebration cradles contemplation, struggle can seem like a stubborn fog rolling in from the Irish Sea or Pacific swells, veiling the vista ahead. Yet here we unite, spirits synchronized across our resilient realms, because a deeper discernment dawns. Endings begin in the embrace of the eternal, in the grace of naming the night while nurturing the near light. This holy night, rich with rituals from Advent wreaths in English vicarages to carol sings under Canadian pines, extends a sacred summons to lean into the promise of conclusion, fostering inner growth through the gentle grace of patient presence. Envision a tapestry nearing its final stitch, threads of trial tensioned not to tear, but to texture a masterpiece of mercy. Your journey mirrors this divine design, each endurance an edge that etches elegance, each exhale an invitation to the imminent. God is inviting you with the compassion of Bethlehem's humble star to view this struggle not as endless exile, but as essential emptying, emotional healing blooming like poinsettias after frost, restoring what was rent without rewriting the resilient record. Let this land like softly falling snow on a silent street in York or a trail in the Blue Mountains, each flake a fleeting form adding to the winter's wondrous white. You've traversed such thresholds before, haven't you? That season of strife in San Francisco's startup storms, where setbacks softened into strategies sharper than steel, or the relational reckoning in Edinburgh's enduring evenings, where rifts resolved into relationships richer than restored. These are grace's gradual goodbyes to grief, woven with hope's harmonious hand. As we wander through this whispered wisdom together, harbor no haste, just the haven of heartfelt harmony in our collective craving for closure. You may sense a subtle softening, a clarity carving through the commonplace clouds of concern, a peace perched like a cardinal on a bare branch. The architect of auroras over the Rockies and rainbows arching Bondi Beach attends to the architecture of your aches too, concluding not despite the conflict, but through its consecrated course. Let these lines be a lantern for your late-night longing, its luminescence linked to the lives we lead from mulled wine moments in Cornish coves to midnight masses in Montreal. Breathe anew, beloved. Inhale the imminence of ease. Exhale the entanglement of endurance. Tonight, from Hobart harbors to Halifax hearths, hearts hold this hopeful hush in harmony. Yours resonates, radiant and real. As chimes chime like chapel bells, we'll weave deeper into patience's promising pattern. Linger lovingly, luminous soul. The struggle's sunset summons serenity, one sacred sigh at a time. Return to this radiant reverie where dawn's promise has begun to blush the horizon. If the assurance of ending has eased an edge within, let it lead us to its loyal forerunner, patience, the unpretentious herald announcing the struggle's sunset with serene subtlety. God is reminding you with the steadfast serenity of evergreens etched against Edinburgh's evening sky or eucalypts enduring Aussie droughts that patience isn't passive postponement, it's the poised proclamation, a divine dispatch detailing the distance to deliverance, fortifying the finale with faithful finesse. You may meet that herald's hesitant hum today, the hurry of heart in a New York New Year's nudge, or a reflective restraint in rainy Reykjavik echoes, where weakness woos us to wander without waiting. Picture a herald at the castle gates, not blowing brash bugles but bearing banners of benevolent brevity, signaling the siege's surcease with symbols of sovereignty. So heralds your hour, horizons of hallowed holding, where faith's fanfare firms unseen, foreshadowing freedoms that fulfill your forbearance. This message murmurs a merciful mirror inward. What heralds of hope are hailing now? What healings hovering in holiday hushes, from festive fjords and Norwegian-inspired Nordic nooks to sun-soaked suppers in South Bank? God is suggesting, in susurrations of sage sojourning, that this heralding is heaven-sent, a hallowed hiatus where timing tolls the truce, threading tranquility into every thoughtful throb. You've heeded such heralds in heartfelt histories hence, perhaps in the prolonged prelude to a promotion's proclamation in Ottawa's optimistic offices, where waits wove worthier wisdom, or in the familial forbearance following fractures, fortified not in frenzy but in festive forgiveness feasts in suburban Sydney. These are patience's poetic preambles, penned with hope's pellucid pen. Inner growth ignites here as emotional healing honors the hiatus, historic hurts hushed to harmony, adversities alchemized to anchors of assurance. Let your breath be the banner now. Inhale the herald's hopeful hail, exhale the haste's hollow howl. You may mark faith maturing, moored in memories, mercies manifested in midnight's mire, directions divined in daily's drift that draws us from Dublin's dusk to Denver's dawn. Clarity crowns these communiques, a clarion's cue clarifying the closing chapter. Kindred in this kingdom, let these pennants enfold effortlessly. You're the courtier of your own chronicle, a spirit summoned to sovereignty, where heralds hint at hallowed horizons. Histories from our huddled hamlets affirm a healer in Halifax's harborside homes, through vigilant vigils veiled in vigil, viewed victories vast. Or the visionary in Vancouver's verdant venues, patience proclaimed amid venture's voids, who voiced ventures victorious, Such scrolls span our seaboards and spires, a symphony of souls schooled in subtle summons. Rest in this reveille a rhythm. Patience isn't procrastination, it's the prelude to peace's pristine proclamation. As the harp's harmonies hasten us hence, we'll hasten to release's redemptive river, where healing heralds the heart's homecoming. The melody maps our migration, majestic and mild. Draw dearer to this dell of deliverance, where patience's pennant has paved a path of promise. Now let piano's plaintive plaints propel us to relinquishment. The benevolent bridle slipped that summons the struggle's surcease with swift serenity. God is reminding you as keys kindle like kindling in a Cornish cottage or Calgary cabin, that release is the radiant release, rending the relentless to reveal renewal's realm. You may brush that bridle's burdensome bite today, the burdens of bygone battles or brewing burdens, bridled like baggage in a Toronto terminal or Sydney shuttle. Envision your soul as a steed long spurred, now reined to rest in verdant vales, reins relaxed to roam realms restored. What weights might you willingly withdraw? The why me's wedged like winter's weight, the scars scarred in struggle's script. Release resounds with a restorative rhyme. You've ridden rigorously, now repose reigns. It's emotional healing's heartfelt hymn. Harrows hushed to hallelujah, nurturing inner growth that neighs with newfound nobility. You've relaxed such reins in redemptive rides before, the resigning of a role-ridden raw, redirecting to roads resplendent in bustling Boston-like bursts, or blissful Byron Bay breaths, or the absolving of alliance's aches, allowing amity's ascent across accustomed arcs. God is intimating with luminous largesse that this lease links like liberations. Patience and release resound rapturously here, timing's tender trope twirling with unharnessing's healing hymn. Breathe with the ballad, brave bridler. Inhale independence's invigorating inhale. Exhale encumbrance's echoing exhale. You may monitor mercy's melody, faith as the farrier forging clarity's course. Peace pastures in these paddocks, a paddock pledging prowess. In this piano's poignant prelude, permit parables from proximate pastures to propel. A shepherd in Sheffield's sheened shires, surrendering strife's spurs, shepherded sheep to splendorous slopes, graces grazed from generous grazing, or the wayfarer in Wellington's windswept ways, weaning worry's whips, whose ways wandered wondrously. These are not axioms, but anthems articulating how unyoking unveils utopia. Cherished across every countryside, relinquish without rigor. Subtle surrenders surge to serenities, stable. God is reiterating that peace proliferates in the pastured plain, clarity in the corral's calm. Faith and hope frolic freely, foals of forthcoming freedom. Dwell as the keys kindle kindly. We're wending to renewal's roundup, where trust tames the tenacious. Let these lullabies be your liberating lyre. Reconvene in this resonant ranch, where release has rendered ranges for richer revelation. With patience's proud parade and unbridling's bright beckon, let's awaken the awaited. Faith and hope, heralded at the struggle's sundown. God is reminding you in violin's verdant vibrato that these are innate invocations, impatient to illuminate your invited idyll. You may meet their murmur in this meditative midnight, emotion mounting from the mesa, murmuring of mornings manifesting. Faith is the foundation's fervent flame, not nescient of night, but nourished by it, nurturing from endurance's enduring ember. Fidelities fanned in former frosts, From frail flickers fled to fortified fires. This pondering propels a perusal of those pyres, pillars for the present's prospect. Inner growth germinates grandly as faith fashions firmaments not fables, but fortified frontiers, where frays forge finer fortresses. Hope hails as the horizon's hearty hymn, harvesting from faith's fervent fount, not negating nadir, but nurturing its nobility. You may muse its manifestation, margins mending to mirror mercy's mosaic. Emotional healing hums in heartfelt harmony, hardships harvested as humus, heightening the haven's holistic hue. Inhale these incandescences. Inhale hope's heliotropic homage. Exhale haze's hindering hush. Archives from affiliated agrarians attest, a sentinel in Seattle's sylvan settings, sowing faith in frailty's furrow, summoned surpluses sublime, worth the wistful watering. Or the prospector in Perth's parched plains, pruning hope through protracted plottings, who procured prizes profuse. These burgeon the belief, your belief a bower in burgeoning balladry. Valued voyager from Vancouver's verdant vales to York's yonder yards, this verdure vibrates with vital veracity. Verily, no necessity, but nature's nod. God is gesturing, your garden grows these gems, peace as the perennial plot. Faith founds, hope heaves heavenward, clarity completes the cadence of coming conquest. As we advance to the alcove of afterlight, let them luxuriate in your landscape. The violin voyages us verdantly. Our odyssey of oracles orients to its opulent oasis, noble kin across the globe, like gloaming gilding in gracious gleam. From struggle's silhouette to hope's horticultural hymn, we've harvested hallowed hollows. God is reminding you in this Yuletide's yielding yarn that peace is the perennial prize, a poised panoply through every pause and pursuit. You may meet its mantle now, or its maiden murmur, a missive to merited mornings in our merry mosaic. This musing has meandered through meadows, growth's glens, patience's pastures, release's rambles, to faith, hope, clarity's cloistered copse. No nadir nears just the nectar of navigating, where struggles surrender to splendor in seraphic swirls. Your yarn, yar with yearning, yields to yoke of yokeless yoke, burgeoning in befitting bloom from Toronto's towers to Sydney's strands. Meditate on one mana, if it melodies, perchance hope's harbinger or clarity's caress. Cradle it carefree into corridors. Your convergence here consecrates your core a constancy cloaked in courage, cherished in our common climes. As Christmas crowns the close, recur to this radiance. Reposing in the rondeau, you are eased in eternity. Noble, as strains subside, savor, you are sighted, sanctified, suffused. Shelter in serenity. The tomorrow, tinctured with triumph, tenders your trove from UK's hearths to Canada's heights. Till twilights twirl anew, traverse tranquilly, treasure tenderly, and trust the timeless tide of tranquility.